So, Mr. B, we know limp's kind of perhaps wide. I guess we could try a complete here. Just let's do it for the stream. I think it's pretty close. Like, it definitely could be folding, but I think it's nice to create some more interesting spots for you guys. Post flop as well. Very fun looking flop. I mean, definitely some room to lead here. We definitely could think about that. We choose to check. I'm not sure. Let's see what Mr. B, how they react in this situation. So, tough to give them an exact range in terms of what they're limping, but we know they limped folded once before, so we suggest it could include some weak hands. 7 comes now. This is going to be a very, very favourable board for the big blind in terms of them having 2-pair galore. But I'm still going to go ahead and probe it. And I think if we go for a sizing where they'll fold their 5x and 6x, that'll be really, really optimal. So, let's say they have Jack-6. Do they call the sizing? I think probably not. That's fantastic in terms of getting those to fold. They'll obviously call 7-6, 7-5, etc., etc., etc. And now a 5 comes in. We have pretty much the worst hand we could have here. So I think bluffing is going to be absolutely fine here. They are going to call a lot. But if we bet 4BB, are they going to fold some 7x? King 7, Queen 7, 9x, 10, 9, 8, 9, 8, 4. Let's hope so. And it's hard to have a bluff here. And so we don't need many folds. I thought they might have folded Jack 9, to be honest, given that we don't have a lot of bluffs there. Yeah. We have some, of course. We have 10-2 of clubs. But 10-3 of clubs is not, obviously wouldn't bluff. 10-6 would be a value, of course. 2-pair, obviously would be a value. 8-6. There's some 10-8. There's some Jack 10, maybe. Interacts a bit with that. Fair enough. We were trying to fold that, so with hindsight, our bluff was terrible. And so we'll never try that again. Weird spot. We're just going to go for a 3/4 and then call off. 0 Days here. Hello, 0 Day. Hope you're doing well. Any says, playing flushes to obtain the rake back. Yeah, it's not a bad. Obviously, I'm kind of like I play way more flushes than reg speeds, and so I find ultras a lot easier in terms of my resources required to grind, my mental resources required to grind ultras are way less than compared to reg speeds. And right now, I think we also have sufficient bankroll in terms of we built up a little bit of a buffer, right? So we have 30 buy-ins. I'm kind of uncomfortable in terms of like let's kind of go for ultras for a bit. The reg back's obviously a lot more, the one other thing is that you don't play the hands you play in ultras aren't that long, whereas the hands you play in reg speeds can sometimes take a minute and a half, and then you run into challenges where like suddenly they could in theory be active on people's screen. So ultra is definitely a safer grind for me, but yeah. Poker SXM says good luck. Thank you very much, Poker SXM. Hope you're doing well. Alvaro's in the house. Buenos tardes, amigo. ¿Cómo estás? What am I doing here? Let's limp. Come el vida, come el poker. Buena suerte. Buena suerte. Buena suerte con todos. Let's fold. Shako is here. Hello, Shaq. Guys, what's up with the Poly Poker leaderboards? I can't see what the prizes are for first, second. Do you know if it's active? So, as far as I'm aware, yes, I have the same problem. Let me see if that's still the case. Party Poker's leaderboards have been active in that they've been running, but they've not been active in terms of impossible to see the historic ones, which I'm sad about because I keep records, and so I won't have records for the last few days. But yeah, I think we could have flat here, by the way. We don't have to shove, but we did shove and ended up okay. We saw I raise you fold, check raise fold on the 10-10-3 first hands we played post flop, so we know they have a check raise bluff within possibly, and then obviously that then gives us a lot of evidence in terms of, well, if they can check raise bluff on that board, they can obviously check raise bluff on more boards. And so because of that, let's say the EV of betting weaker hands drops a bit. Now, if someone has no check raise bluffs, you can pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and just bet all of your weak hands, assuming they don't realize that. Very, very, like, everything moves up probably on a lot of boards. It also has somewhat impacts post flop as well. So, for example, let's say someone's check raised loads of bluffs, right? We're slightly more incentivized to limp the marginal value hands, the kind of shove fold hands. We're going to go ahead and bet this one just because I like betting this hand in terms of, yeah. We're going to check. Should we check? Yeah, let's check. Galactus says, hey Tomo, hey Gregor. How you doing, mate? We've just flopped 2 pairs, so we're doing fantastic. Now, how do we get value out of this? I think min betting the turn's kind of cool. Gives them some room. A lot of Jack X in that limping range, right, at 9BB. A lot of Queen X as well. Don't think too much 10X is checking back. I think a lot of Queen X is there, and then probably also calls the Jack X. Now, I think checking this river is our way to go. The reason being, I think Queen X always bets, right? If we check, he bets his Queen X anyway. And if he's got a Jack X, I assume he's going to bluff. Or a 9X, right? And there's not tons of... We blocked the 8X in particular, which is the hand that he would kind of snap check back. So we had a Jack X, but he actually had Ace Jack, so that kind of makes sense, right? He's not going to bluff Ace Jack, but let's say he had Jack 6. I assume that Jack 6 would bluff that river, given that can just make some auto folds from some of our hands. So kind of okay with our line. Obviously, we could bet the river. And against certain combos, it would be better. Against certain combos, it'd be worse. It's not about trying to pick the exact combo to get it right or wrong. It's about kind of trying to think of like the aggregate range and how much can we be specific about, how much can we filter in, zoom in on a kind of average range, and then play a hand accordingly. Does that make sense? I don't know. I ramble a lot. Sorry. Greg says, how long are you streaming for tonight? I will stream for at least a few hours. We're going to try and go for a little bit longer. I feel like a lot of the streams recently have been quite short, so I have no plans post this evening, so we'll keep it going for a little bit. Let's see how much of a bankroll we can spin up, spin down. We would have liked to have won that one, ladies and gentlemen. That would have been good. Let's play another. But hey, in 4 months' time, you get a little coaching session, so that's cool. Now, we're in for a little block bet on the turn. We've got a snap call. Lots of snap calls with like just a spade in the hand. I don't follow any spade. So we're just going to go for a little block bet on the turn again. Very, very exploitable, but I think if he's got a 9, he calls. If he doesn't have a 9, he probably folds, and that's fine. And we're exactly right in terms of the kind of hand we were targeting, but he had a 3, so that makes sense. Why I think that's a good bet on the river is that, let's say he's got a hand like 7-5 with a spade, right? If we check and he bets, we can't call Jack High. So we should check and... Sorry, we should just block bet and he just folds. And even if he folds air, it's great. And if he folds Queen 8, it's great. And if he folds Queen 4, it's great. And if he folds King 8, it's great. And so many hands, so many unpaired hands that I think it's just... It's great to bet there. So Bobby, yeah. So yeah, you'll find definitely more variance on a kind of per game basis and a per similar sample, per 1,000 game, right? But what you can do is that in ultras, you can of course play. I don't find them smoother in terms of the bankroll necessarily. I find them smoother in terms of the decision making. So also, I've just practiced relentlessly ultras for the last year and a half, I'd say, and so I find them a lot more. I find I'm a lot more comfortable. I don't have any really spots to... I think about lots of spots, but let's say, yeah, I'm a lot less unfamiliar. And with reg speeds, it's just a matter of practice, right? You get back into reg speed play, of course, but there's definitely places where I'm rusty these days. 25 big blinds BBV, I'm like, what am I doing here? And I'm not 100% sure of all the... I'm not playing badly, but I'm definitely not playing as well as I could, let's say. Leslie says, are there any infos on the profit split percentages of Team 651? I don't think there's anything on the website where... so I'm going to... Yeah, let's just stick in a big blind. There's some reasons to do this. If the small blind, for example, shoves over or is aggressive. It's bad if it goes 3-way. Not terrible, though. Like, it's still okay equity, right? But if the small blind raises and we get a fold pre, or the big blind raises and we get a fold pre, then suddenly we only need 33%, and that's fantastic, of course, assuming we're not faced with an overpair. Anyway, Sorry, the split percentage are all person by person. So the best advice is to just send the application, our friendly applications team, send them a message and see what they say. It will change based on experience, based on whatever stakes, stuff like that. But as far as I'm aware, I'm not involved in the recruitments team. The rates are competitive, and I think 95% of people plus, maybe more, I'm not sure, seem pretty happy. So there's always the option. Anyway. Galat says, I've always wanted to visit Australia as well. Are you visiting any place in particular, or are you going to roam around a bit? Like a kangaroo roaming around the outback? No, so Defrau, my partner, she's playing a golf tournament. She's a really good, for those unaware, my girlfriend's a really good golfer. And she won a tournament, which means she has an invitational to Australia. Thank you very much for the follow, Karbalal. And in this invitational, her flights and her accommodation are paid for, and she wrote back and said, hey, I normally travel with my caddy, Texas Tomo. You may have heard of him. She didn't say that, but they probably have heard of me down there, haven't they? Like morning breakfast viewing, I think, this Twitch stream. Anyone from Australia or New Zealand watching? Say hello if you are. Anyway, so she's playing invitational golf tournament. I will be her caddy for the period, and then we're going to do a bit of travelling as well afterwards, so it'll be nice. But yeah, no poker for that is 3 weeks. So we could jam. I'm just going to jam. We had someone follow and I missed it. Nah, I just missed it, haven't I? The highest committee. Thank you very much, the highest committee. The highest of thanks to you. So we had a good start. We won a 3x, and now we've lost 6 in a row. Something like that, huh? 7 in a row. I'm not sure.